I'm Frank Hedley. I'm now retired after a 35-year career in the forces. I was a dentist in the forces and was posted from coast to coast and also to Europe.
I'm Teresa Hedley, Mother Teresa of Scott, Heather, and Erik. And we're here in Manotick, Ontario now, our last posting, and I'm a teacher by profession.
Well, my name is Heather Hedley, and I'm 15 years old.
My name is Erik Hedley, and I am 17 years old.
To understand them is to understand that change is difficult. Change is the most difficult thing. And the thing about our armed forces lifestyle is that change is the constant. He was diagnosed and he's considered high functioning autism, and the sensory things going on, too bright, too loud, too hot, too cold. So he was telling us something, and we realized something very early on, is that all behavior is communication.
So we know that one of the common challenges that families face when caring for an individual with autism is the amount of family stress that they encounter. And that can be heightened if an individual is on exercise or deployed.
And that's also kind of at the hallmark of one of the challenges of children with autism, is that the very nature of their disorder is to struggle with their interactions in their environment and changes.
There was the sensory stuff, social skills. And so we had social skills groups from the Comox Valley Child Development Center. And so he would be in these groups with other kids with autism, and they would just teach them very targeted. This is how you ask someone a question, this is how you interact and reciprocate, because he wasn't doing that.
The more that communities can understand how autism looks for families, especially in the military family lifestyle, then the more that they can be inclusive to embracing that when families are in the community.
I must say, a lot of families, I used to do two things in Ottawa. One of them was consult for, it's called Emerging Minds. It's a diagnostic center, and I would go to families' homes of children with autism and help them troubleshoot any issues they were having. Most of the issues were not in the house. They could figure out how they had to set it up because they knew their children were very systematic. It was the school system. It was negotiating with the school system and having the system, the school, understand their child and bring out the best in their child and create the kind of environment that their child needed. And that again and again and again is a huge, huge deal for families with autism, because you can set up your home, can be a perfect oasis, but then your child is gone for 8 hours a day to school, and it has to be right, or else they come home extremely, extremely stressed.
As an outsider, I can see the stress the families are under and how they are trying to juggle, all these relocations, and sometimes it's a training, it's an off-site training that lasts 3 months, and sometimes it's actually a parent fighting in a different country. And what strikes me is that when I watch it and I feel the stress, is that they're so tough. They're just so adaptive to the situation, and I see that as a huge strength.
I found that Heather and Scott were very good teachers and did so much with him. I think the sibling piece is one of the most valuable resources that we have, and I would praise, and Frank would praise Scott and Heather very directly and say, when you said that to Erik, did you notice his reaction? And you've really changed him. Getting that positive feedback from us was a very positive loop. It helped Erik, but made them feel better.
For example, to make sure you look presentable first day of school, I'd go in and see Erik's outfit and make sure it's good, and then make sure that it's not maybe the exact same thing the next day, because that could be not as hygienic and stuff, and I just tell him things like that.
When we have people over and tell me what's right and what behavior is wrong, and we talk about it afterwards, the results.
Oh, you did well on this, and then, oh, maybe next time you shouldn't have done that, and then here's how we could do change it next time.
So Erik is better now at changes because we've had to go through changes. But if you take somebody like Erik with autism and you say, okay, well, we have to move. So how can we make this best to work out, and how can we, one of the things that we did when we came here, Teresa talked to the school here, which he was coming to, and they said, please send us a video of the school and everything else, so that one doesn't think, I'm going to a new school, I'm really nervous about it. Well, I've never seen that before. But if you can look at it and, oh, okay, now I see this is what it looks like, the classrooms, I'm going to go through this door, you kind of lower that whole level of anxiety.
Well, I don't know about you, but for me, I find, well, like traveling in the military across Canada really interesting because you get to see different places of Canada that you might not be exposed to and see how people around Canada kind of live their lives and things like that.
Yes, I think it's neat to be like a military family because when you live in different houses, then it creates different chapters of your life, like of my childhood, the different places I lived in so far.
But I liked your comment about because we've had to change so much that we become
Good at it. Something, you know.